Hi, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from the Blackwater Siren. I'm here with Bill Witzinger. Say hi, Bill.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Today's episode is episode 114, Cyber Dating. And we are, once again, at the Blackwater Siren, where happy hour is Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. And what about those Bud and Bud Light bottles?
Bud Light's $2 all the time, man.
$2. And
Always
they
happy
always
hour
have
on
some
Bud and Bud
great
Light.
food specials, too. And they do cook your catch. My buddy Jim's here today. Tuesdays and Saturdays, you'll find Jim behind the bar during the day. But you'll also find Kelly, Phil, Hubert, Ingrid, Christy, Sally, and, of course, the always congenial Jessica. And they have live entertainment on
Friday and Saturday nights.
Friday
nights, it's the Key Billies.
Yeah. Oh, Friday nights at Key Billies.
Yep.
Okay. And we're going to be talking a little later on about how you can get in touch with
Actually, it's going to be Luke Glenn and the Glen Billies.
Oh, Luke Glenn and the Glen Billies.
Because Cody's out gallivanting, so we got our favorite other redneck. To
Well,
fill
if
in.
you're lucky, maybe you'll hear a little of his Pussy song. How much Luke
I'm
loves
sure we
pussy. You know, and that's his.
She Left Me for Jesus. That's always a popular
That's
one.
his song too.
Yeah.
I like that. Left Me for Jesus. These are the songs. You know what? We can play those songs on the show.
We can't. She Left Me for Jesus is actually somebody else and it's copyrighted.
What? It's copyrighted by someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
somebody
love
else
pussy. How
recorded
about
that.
the
We
I love
stole it.
pussy?
That I'm pretty sure nobody's claimed that one.
Okay. The reason why we called this episode Cyber Dating is I didn't realize how far behind the times we were. I knew there were things like Tinder and Snapchat.
I'm just fine with the times, as long as the times are like 1985.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, last time we were talking about dating was we were talking about Match.com, and this is less than a year ago. Match.com, JDate, Christian Mingle, Farmer.com, Plushie.
I don't know.
Some of people like to fuck each other when they were dressed like stuffed animals.
Yeah, no, the furry people.
And furry people. And no insult to them. You know, whatever floats your boat. That sounds relatively harmless, though you must have an enormous cleaning bill. Today I watched this HBO documentary, and it's about the new dating habits of the Utes of today. Utes. I like to say Utes. But it's it wasn't. And in my head, I'm thinking the title was called Swipe Right. But Tinder. They focused on Tinder.
Okay.
And do you know the?
No.
Okay. And
Not even a little
it's
bit.
just a hookup site. I mean, originally, God, it was 15 years ago. I think it was 2001 or even before. There was a website called Hot or Not, and that was so cruel. I mean, I understand it. I understand the premise of it. That someone's going to put their picture up, and what a courageous act that is for someone who's not already sure that they're hot. Because to come out with a bunch, a score of 3.3, I know, or really low, that could be a real dent to your self-esteem. And that's how originally Mark Zuckerberg got started. He started kind of like a hot or not thing. He was kind of a vindictive little prick.
Has that changed?
Well, yeah, because he's worth billions of dollars. He
Now
doesn't
he's
worry
a
about.
vindictive rich prick.
No, but what I mean to say is that he started out, and you see that in the movie, The Social Network. You ever seen that one?
No.
Oh, it was awesome, man. I always thought a movie about the development of Facebook would be kind of, bullshit, lame, and it was really interesting. The acting behind it, the personality, the acting, how you see the personalities of people and the way they react to things and stuff. It's the guy that wrote Aaron Sorkin, the guy that wrote West Wing. And during West Wing, they had high-minded ideas when he talked about government and politics and how people should behave. It was kind of righteous people. Okay, and yes, it was more popular on the left than it was on the right, but people seem to like Aaron Sorkin. and the way he does dialogue is kind of more
No
real.
idea who he is.
Aaron Sorkin. Well, Aaron Sorkin is an amazing writer. So when I'm watching it, I see these people, and it goes, they are boiling down the essence of what dating is today. And they start out in Austin, Texas. And I'll tell you, I've never wanted to go to Texas really recently, but I want to go to San Antonio. I want to go to Houston. I definitely want to go to Austin.
That's not
I
Texas.
wish I had a time machine. Because if I went to Austin, I'd go to Austin now.
Yeah. Austin's not Texas.
As a 27-year-old Jim Horan, I would love to be in Austin and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously Texas, I picked 3 places in Texas, so obviously I have to like Texas. But I always say, hey, I apologize. I say shit about Texas, but there's some awesome places in Texas.
Sure.
And I spoke to a couple people in there. There was
Texas, though.
Michelle Devine's from Texas. Melissa. Did I say Melissa or Michelle? Melissa. Holy crap. Melissa, I apologize for that. And then, Tinder confirms the behavior of men and women on Tinder confirms the age-old adage for young men and young women. Young men are looking for what?
Titties.
Random encounters. And women are looking for predominantly long-term relationships. And then you got everything in between. Obviously, you have the gay relationships, male, female, tranny, and then all these other ones going on. And they seem to have some of the guys I were talking to, I didn't know exactly what orientation they were, but they seem less masculine than I remember growing up to be. But I'm not accusing them of being less masculine, but they're behaving like fucking dickheads.
Dude, if
they're talking like they're gay, and they're hooking up with girls like they're the biggest dogs in the world.
Good for them. Do they have a lumberjack beard?
Yeah, they got those.
They can't change a fucking tire. Shave your beard off.
Yeah, you can't. I can change a tire.
I know.
And I don't have a beard.
If you're wearing skinny jeans and have a lumberjack beard and you can't change a tire, shave that shit off.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying, you're talking to these guys, and they seem very sensitive and real. And they were just like, one guy says, my Tuesday night schedule for my classes is relatively light the next day. So that night is. So I would schedule my hookups. So swiping right, when you're on Tinder, swiping right means like. And swiping left is you're discarding, dismissing. And so you're just looking at someone, and they're boiling it down to the essence of what people are attracted to. So they showed all these pictures, and yes, it's guys with fish, motorcycles, hiking, mountains in the backgrounds, holding a book.
Men.
Yeah, imagine if you were attracting another guy who's holding a dildo or something like that. There's nothing. It's who you want to attract. And women, it's cleavage, lipstick, pursed mouths, as much skin as possible, showing their ass off and stuff like that. So you're really reduced to the essence of who you are topically.
There you go.
But that's not by a far shot, not even close to who you really are.
I don't know. There's
you ever seen
some
a movie?
pretty close.
Okay. There was and this is going to be way beyond you. Ever seen this movie called Amélie? It's a French movie. I know it's crazy. He's laughing. He's laughing his ass off. So Amélie, she has this crush on this guy who she found his album. She found a hard album, meaning a real album, in I think it was next to a photo booth.
Okay.
And she sent all these kind of signs and clues on how to find her. And she used, the describer, she used mystery and allure, but
Okay.
it wasn't necessarily sex.
Yeah, there you go.
This is who I am. She dresses Zorro and doing that stuff, and I mean, I would think, I know topically when I see someone, that first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, beauty. The beauty attracts me to the person,
There you go.
the woman. And then, but after a while, if you talk to a woman, it's for some, and I imagine the same thing goes for a man.
Yep. There's the old saying. I don't care how good he or she looks. Somebody somewhere is sick of their shit.
Well, after a while, I mean, I've seen it so many times. They come in, you see them walk in the door, and they're gorgeous, and all of a sudden, after a while, you go, "Wow, they really do drop down in the thing."
Yep.
I mean, I did have a couple celebrities. One who's a famous race car driver,
Old Baba Bear song called "Numbers." You ought to listen to it.
one of the famous race car drivers who's a female. Who I'm not going to say her name, but I'll allude to who she is because she was a big. She was a spokesperson for GoDaddy. And she came in.
That's a gimme.
She was, a matter of fact, she was more attractive because she had the glasses on. I mean, I was surprised. I thought she was like 19, and she was like 30 at the time.
There you go.
And she came. When she came out, I'm looking at her. So, oh, this is
she's
beautiful
probably a
young
really
girl.
good chick.
And then the more after I realized who she was, it didn't reduce her attractiveness, but my interaction with her, it's sunk like a lead balloon, if I can use that a metaphor. That she was her looks. She went from a 9 to an 8 to a 7 to a 6, and when I see her, I think of a robot with the skin of a human on top.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you're saying, I'm going to do my best to pretend to be warm, and they're not doing a good job at all. So they went on and on about how these guys on this show, how the guys and girls, and then one girl's saying, she's posting the pictures herself, trying to be provocative, and she's crying about it. Yeah. So
Well,
it's
why the hell
almost
you
like they're
doing
shoehorning themselves. The guys like doing it, but then they realize how empty everything is. And the girls hate doing it, but they realize they have to do it in order to entice the guys. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. Yeah, they talked to a beautiful black woman, young black woman from Plainview, Illinois. Beautiful, beautiful. And she said how tough it was to meet someone in her because only white guys wanted white girls. And when they wanted black girls, they wanted it exotic. You know what I mean? And she was beautiful. And then she went on there and she met more guys. And I mean, I imagine I met white and black guys. Yeah. But, I mean, just the idea that you're going to go and meet someone. And we said that about Match.com. That interaction and phoniness, that when you see them, and they're talking to these people, and the pictures they post, once you have the filters put on them, I was looking for a picture for today's episode. And I'm searching through it, and I came across pictures I took in Poland. And there was one of an old Orthodox church, in a Greek Orthodox church that was, because I was taken in Krakow, Poland, and there's a picture of a postcard. And I said, I never take a fucking picture of a postcard. And then I go to the next one. It's the postcard as a picture, meaning they have a filter that turns it into
postcard. Okay.
It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. And I'm looking at it, I said, holy shit. Now we're doing that. You know, the caricatures, they do that where you can turn you look like a cartoon. And I'm looking at it, it looks like a painting of watercolor. It looks like a watercolor.
Some of us are already caricatures.
And I do like looking at old pictures, the castles and all those places that I saw. And then I realized, well, you take 500 pictures of yourself, there's going to be a good one in there.
Probably.
And you're going to be able to filter it, make it look good. But the idea behind it is of a narcissist. Before I met Abby, I started taking a couple pictures of myself, and I realized I needed to have a couple pictures of myself, and I was going to go on Facebook. So, I mean, I'm not horrible, right?
No.
I'm not horrible. So I put that on there, and then I realized
I don't
me
even know what
taking
my
the
Facebook
picture,
picture
and
is.
then I focused on the picture, and I said, I overdid it. What?
I don't even know what my Facebook picture is. I got to look at what my profile picture
Oh,
is.
you're on a racing bike.
Oh, no, I changed it.
Okay.
I put, no, I got two. I got one with me on a race bike, and then I got, review profile picture. That one, the one that Mark did.
That's a good picture.
That is a good picture.
Yeah, and I realized, and you took someone else's picture, but
Yeah.
taking a picture of yourself all the time is a classic narcissistic disorder.
Yeah, no, I
And
don't
just
take
taking
pictures
pictures.
of me.
But there's beautiful women, and imagine handsome men. I don't stare at handsome men, but there's beautiful women. They take pictures of themselves all the time. It's classic.
If
They're
you look-
reinforcing and accepting a narcissistic behavior of themselves and reaffirming the behavior every time they post it.
Probably.
Yeah, and they're beating it deep and encoding it into their lives. Just imagine that. Every time you're doing looking, I remember I came down here in 2007. The year I came down to Key Largo in 2007, I was separated. The year the smartphone was introduced, the iPhone.
There you go.
And I don't think I ever. Luckily, I dated a couple times, and I was 44 at the time, and then I met the love of my life, Abby, and I didn't have to do that anymore. But the women I went on, they weren't young enough where they stopped and took pictures of themselves and food all the time. But I could imagine, I could imagine what it'd be like to be on a date, and when you're in the middle of a conversation with a woman, and she would look at a mirror picture of herself, and say, "Oh, I better take a picture of myself right now," because they got that
No.
right. The idea behind the cell phone, they had the when they introduced a camera on the phone.
The front-facing camera or the back.
Well, the back-facing camera was on the flip phone, and then the Nokia first. The Nokia introduced it, and then the flip phone started coming out. The Samsung and all those.
Yep.
The Nokia, the Samsung, and whatever other company, and then all of a sudden, the front-facing camera. The front-facing, and then they had to get the resolution better on the front-facing camera, so you could see what you look like while you're taking a picture of yourself.
Yeah. Well, I just checked my photos. I have photos of cats, food, and sunsets.
I would hesitate to say I do have, and I mess with my phone a lot when they put the front when they first introduce a front-facing camera. You tend to do it, and you do it a certain amount of times, and you think, if you're, what do you call it when you're sentient, you're self-aware.
Okay.
And then you go and say, this is like Adonis, right? Looking into the pool of water and falling in love with his picture right there.
I have one selfie on my phone.
I have a lot more than that.
I have one.
I may
selfie
have
on my
like
phone.
12 or 13. But considering all the phone pictures I take, thousands of pictures, it's not that many either. But there's people that take maybe 20 a day. And they're beautiful, and they're beautiful people, but you got to watch out. Every time you take that picture, I think it takes a little out of your soul. I think it just washes it away. Any of your sense of, you have your self-esteem and your looks, but what happens to your intelligence? And what happens to you if you lost that?
I don't know. I wouldn't care. I'd lose it.
Well, I mean, I look different than I did as a kid. I had bad scarring, and but I guess I grew into my looks. I felt better as I got older, and it felt comfortable.
Just don't care anymore.
Not overly conceited, comfortable enough, and then finally I felt confident just to go and say I'm worth being that way. But if you're just spending the whole day taking pictures of yourself and then hoping that you're going to be judged by that momentary interaction of swiping right, And then people say, well, the guy says, well, if I swipe right, that means I like your picture. But I'm going to have to go and look at your profile. Meaning, oh, well, what, you're not a saint worshiper? Not that there's anything wrong with a saint worshiper.
Crazy girls are a lot of fun.
Oh, they are fun. They are fun. Hey, where are we on this?
Oh, we got 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Okay. So we had all this go on, and I just worried about my daughter and other people, that you're being judged by that instantaneous judgment right then. I'm not worried about that for myself. Right now, I'm the oldest fuck stage. Right?
You get to
I mean,
the
they
one
got
where
what's
it's
it,
like-
Our Time? They got that dating site called Our Time now.
and there were zero
What's the
fucks
cutoff?
given.
What's the Our Time thing?
I don't know.
I would love to see pictures on. I mean, we're going to have to do a show, and we'll post pictures from. How can we get the okay to post pictures from
don't
Our
know.
Time? And if
I
we do
really
have
don't know.
listeners that are on Our Time, I would love to hear. Or can you send me your pictures?
Yeah, send the profile pic. If you
Send
don't
your
mind.
profile from Our Time,
We'll throw it up there. That'll
man
be-
or woman, and we'll put it on there. And it won't be. We won't be the hot or not
No.
judge. We won't judge that. And I may pick it for the interest level and engages, but I don't have to say what kind of interest level. We always see those pictures of the family all in their Christmas sweaters, all in the same sweaters and things like
There
that.
you go.
So along with that Tinder.com and how people are going to have to be judged by that split second. That it's almost like you have to develop 3 seconds of a personality.
I know a lot of people with 3-second personalities.
3 seconds personality right after that, and you go, wow, you are beautiful. Oh, thank you.
Yep. And we're done.
What
here.
happens now? What are you going to talk about?
And we're done
We
here.
had a conversation. And they showed guys on Tinder looking at a picture. Girl had a pretty picture there. And the girl didn't really match up with it. She wasn't really bad either. But you know what? It was a very flattering picture for the young lady. And they sit down and they go, oh, well, they're sitting down having a cup of coffee outside, whether it's going to continue. And, oh, what do you like to do? Well, I work at an Italian restaurant, blah, 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 blah. And the guy's looking at, and nothing really crazy or anything like that. If you had a spark of excitement when you met someone, you might have an opening statement that would catch them.
Maybe.
It's like, hey, you remind me of Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I don't know. Sandy brought me a bunch of beer.
Oh, what?
Sandy brought me a bunch of beer the first time I met her.
Well, how'd that happen? What do you mean?
I'm just saying that's what got.
Wait,
my
how'd you
first-
meet Sandy? Let's hear this.
We were at a big. They do a big charity fundraiser down here, and
How long ago was this?
This was, I don't know, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years
Okay.
ago. And she worked for the guy, one of the big sponsors of it, and I was a friend of his. And I was sitting there, and she kept walking by. Hey, you want a beer? Yeah, I'll take a beer. I'll take a beer. I'll take a beer. We ended up talking. She just kept bringing me beer.
Oh, really?
Worked real well.
She came over and just offered you beer every time.
Yeah. We were sitting there. She came up to say hi to her boss, and she's going, okay, I'm going to go. And she just looked at me, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a beer. She came back, had a beer, and next time she walked by, she brought me another beer, and we ended up talking. It worked out good.
Well, when you first start, it's hard to remember the first conversation. I can remember.
Well, we knew each other casually from, she used to run a restaurant down here. I knew her from that. So we talked before casually, but never really engaged in conversation other than, hi, how are you doing? I'll
really?
take this. Okay, I got to go go wrangle a boat.
What? Okay. Well, and then, so you're meeting, and okay, so something happened. There was a hook, meaning the hook was when do you get her number? When you call her? When do you decide to meet up? Or do you accidentally meet up the next time?
No, we actually we were talking as it was close to 4th of July. We said, hey, you want to meet a crib for fireworks? Met a crib for fireworks.
That's fucking romantic. I know. Yeah.
You know,
when you're with a girl during fireworks and stuff like that, there's booze, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was booze.
Yeah.
I was buying her and her daughter Goldschlager shots.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, you guys can drink that. I'll have real whiskey, thank you.
Their daughter's 29 years old.
27.
So it was 6 years ago.
Probably 6 years ago.
Okay.
She was just 21.
I was just guessing.
Actually, she might not even been quite 21 at the time.
Okay. Well, she's a lovely young lady, very sweet. Every time she comes in, I'm just. I just don't know the association because I don't think Sandy's old enough to have a daughter that old. Not that mature, I guess, to be the right way to say. So, for me, Abby and I met at the gym. We did the conversation. We got all the bullshit talk. Because when you're on an elliptical machine or you're stretching out afterwards and stuff, we had all the conversation. The first date, Abby's gorgeous. I love, much like Sandy, Abby's gorgeous. I look at her and she's pretty, and I can't do silence. I'm doing it right now, but I can't do silence.
No, you can't.
And I would start talking, and she said she was amazed how much I talked. I was amazed, considering how much I talked, that she decided to go out with me again.
There you go.
I guess the level of her discontent, yes, I have one. The level of Abby's discontent with my talking was not at the level, was lower than the level of her happiness of the subject I spoke about. And that's what made that relationship go forward. I mean, nowadays, if we had met, I don't know if it was just up to a picture, I don't know if I'd be able to live up to the image of the picture that I had and what Abby's impression would be of that and what I have to do to fulfill that expectation. So what I just said is I don't know if I'd be able to live up to the expectation of the picture that I would put up there or be able oh, my God, I didn't realize this fucking guy talks so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
what do you do? Hey, listen, we're towards the end. I want to do the commercials, and then we're going to finish with the thing about the Turing test. I want to go back on the Turing test and talk about chat bots and all that stuff. Chat bots.
What's chat box?
Yeah. What?
What's chat box?
What's a chat bot?
What is chat box? Oh, chat bot.
A chat bot.
I
Okay.
you said chat box. I was like,
no,
that?
chat bot. Okay, I'm going to start it with mine, and this way
Okay.
you can get an idea what the tone is
Go
right
ahead.
there. I'm going to talk about a new company down here in the Keys. It's called The Keys Notary, and you can get them at thekeysnotary.com, and they are there for your wedding officiating, document affirmations and signings and things like that. Most of the signings will be just free. But if you have a legal courier need or a wedding officiating need, we ask you to call the Keys Notary at keysnotary.com, and the number there is the same as the Keys Bartender because the Keys Notary is the Keys Bartender.
There you go.
Okay, and I'm going to turn this over to Bill right now. We're going to talk
let's
about the
see.
Killbillies.
I guess we got Cody James and the Keybillies. You can always find us at on the web, www.CodyJamesandthekeybillies.com. That puts you straight over to our Facebook page. That's got all our contact information. We're available for hire all occasions. Anytime you want us to play, we'll come out and play.
Yep. Is there a number they can reach you?
There is 30. Actually, it's on the the best one's probably Cody's, and it's on the site.
That's all right.
Let's
see it.
I'm looking for it. I don't know how this Facebook shit works.
No, folks, I'll tell you, there's no better band. Let me talk about your band some.
Okay.
They are a party band. They are a party band. If you're, it is good for, I'd say, the late 20s to early 60s if you like to have a good time. And it's fun, it's down homey, but it's also current. And they're kind of edgy for that kind of music. I think you guys are edgy.
Oh, we do some newgrass.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, no, I can't find shit.
Okay, well that's all right. You can go to Facebook and find.
Yeah, just shoot us a message over on Facebook, and
or you can always contact the podcast,
Keys Bartender,
the Keys Bartender podcast, if you ever need to see them. And you don't have a website yet?
We do, but it just puts you right back to the Facebook site.
Oh, that's perfect. Go to the website, get back to the Facebook site. We're going to get back and finish up. Since we started the touring test, we did this about the touring test.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
The 30%. There's a 30% mark. The touring test is not a verbal one because it originally was Alan Turing, the code breaker, the one that broke Enigma during World War II, came up with this test. So with the eventuality that artificial intelligence would be unidentifiable from human intelligence in the future. And the Turing test said once it reached a level of 30%, where it fooled 30% of the people that were just talking to it through text, that's the point where sentience was reached. Well, now we have chatbots, and chatbots work on tons of websites, and people don't know that. And chatbots are kind of provocative. They use them on Facebook. There's chatbots. There's Facebook personas that are using chatbots right now.
If you're a 20-something-year-old in a picture with a profile picture in lingerie and you're chatting with me on Facebook, you're probably a chatbot.
I mean, you have to be desperately lonely if you realize that Natasha with the one photo and no friends, and they say, I like to make sexy playtime with you, and with a palm tree.
Come on, guys. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
It's a dude that came up with a chatbot. But the regular chatbots, when they did a test on this, the regular chatbots are always seeking to get provocative. And they always seem to go towards more intimate conversations. And now, it used to be that we did have a discussion about this Crocodile Dundee when he reached down. And
hey!
There is virtually no chance of that happening when you're on the internet nowadays.
You don't know.
No, to do a test and to talk, I think for me, it would be, I need to have a little more time, and I need to throw a curveball. I'd find out their interest and try to steer them away from the intimate, because the intimate's not going to go and say, I like this, I like cucumbers shoved in my vagina. Okay.
Look for a guy with a really, really big wallet.
Mm-hmm. No, I'd find out something that's very interesting and try to take it left turn, something interest that is non-intimate, and then try to explore a different venue. If they mention Disney, I can make a Disney reference that isn't direct.
Yeah.
I'd say, like in the middle of the Snow White's my favorite thing. So, well, do you think there's anything weird about a young woman living with 7 adult men?
7 short adult men?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even make that approach. I would leave that
open.
Leave that open. And I said, is there anything, what is odd about that situation? And they couldn't decide whether being little people or 7 adult men or anything is odd. I would think that they're either crazy or a chatbot. Or, and I wouldn't want to really hang out with someone that they could have a social disease. Because they'd be way into that mixed group stuff.
Yeah. Hey,
okay, well, listen, I think we're at a good time right now.
Yeah, we could probably call it.
Okay, well, this is Jim the Keys Bartender. I'd like to thank Bill Wissinger for being my co-host today, and I'd like to thank the Blackwater Siren. That's always there for your dining pleasure. And like Bill said, they got $2 Bud and Bud Light bottles. They have great, they have Cook Your Catch and great meal specials here every day. and happy hour from 3 to 6. So for now, this is Jim the Keys bartender, and we'll be back tomorrow from Shipwrecks.
Woo!
With
hopefully with Luke tomorrow.
What?
We're gonna start a little earlier.
We're gonna start a little earlier tomorrow.
Be a little bit farther away from that speaker.
Yep. Well, you know what? The only problem with that speaker yesterday was that we can't hear. But otherwise, the audio was excellent.
Yeah, I know. You hear a little bit in the background.
Yeah, little in the background.
That's why we run the dynamic
I guess
mics
all we have
system.
to be maybe inside the screen.
No, not even inside the screen. Just that speaker was 3 feet from us. So.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking in my head when I heard it, I thought we're going to be drowned out. And then if I didn't know that, I would have toughed it out.
Yeah.
I would have toughed it out more.
Yeah.
I don't really
care. If we
care.
were wearing headphones, we would have heard fine. So.
You know what? I
just hate wearing headphones. I know.
I don't want to hear my voice. And in fact, thanks again. Let's turn it over to Bill Wissinger.
Thank you all. We do appreciate you listening. Had a good time today. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. We do appreciate you listening, and we will catch you next time. Thank you so much.